The Motherworld has been ruled by 1,000 kings in succession. The royal bloodlines consumed everything on the home planet and sent their armies outward to conquer new worlds for their resources. Only an assassin struck down the king and queen, severing the bloodline forever. A senator named Belisarius seized the power and started to crush the rebellion in the outer reaches of the empire. Belisarius sent his most brutal commander, Noble, to deal with the rebellion. Otiku's Noble Ed Skrine, the sadistic admiral of the militaristic Imperium, arrives on the backwater moon of Velt on behalf of the Motherworld, an interstellar empire fueled by centuries of conquest and war. Welcome to my movie recap explanation channel. Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire, from director Zack Snyder. Velt is simple farming community. Cora works the fields and is pursued by Den. Stuart Martin, a local farmer. Cora has only spent 2 seasons at Velt and says that she is a product of war, and that the idea of family was beaten out of her as she was turned into a soldier. The villagers saw the dreadnought enter their atmosphere. Cora alerts the villagers. Gunnar is a farmer who advocates dealing with the Imperium as partners, but Cora says that Imperium can only subjugate and never partner. Gunnar sold the excess produce to rebels in the previous season, and Cora wants Imperium to be given what they ask for before they dig too deep. Sindri, the head of the village, refuses to negotiate with the Imperium. Noble explains that his troops are hunting for a band of rebels led by siblings Devra Cleopatra Coleman and Darian Bloodaxe Ray Fisher, and offers to buy the village's surplus grain at 3 times the market value. Noble says that the Bloodaxe have been attacking the Imperial ports and stores, and as such the army is running low on provisions. The village's leader, Sindri Cory Stoll, refuses the offer, claiming they barely have enough to survive as their land is rocky and their winters are harsh. A farmer, Gunnar Mitchell Husman, contradicts Sindri's claim, indicating that the village might have some surplus. Noble kills Sindri and orders Gunnar to prepare enough grain, which will not leave the village with enough to survive, in 10 weeks. The village produces 12,000 bushels of harvest, and Noble wants 10,000 bushels for the army. Noble departs, leaving a handful of soldiers, including Marcus Greg Creek, a cruel soldier, and Private Aris Sky Young, who is disillusioned with the Imperium and Motherworld's immorality, and a Jimmy Robot JC to 1435 Anthony Hopkins to oversee the harvest. The Jimmy Robots refused to fight once the king was slain, which was driven by something in their programming. After being harassed by Marcus, Jimmy starts to become independent. The villager Sam shows empathy with Jimmy and befriends him. Jimmy tells Sam the story of their slain king and their daughter Issa. Issa was supposed to usher in an era of peace and prosperity across the empire. Jimmy says that Sam reminds him of Issa. He says that Jimmys were created to protect Issa. Cora wanted to flee the village when Gunnar and Den decide to give the Imperium what they want and depend on their mercy for survival. Cora Sophia Butella finds the other soldiers holding another villager Sam Charlotte Maggi and Aris hostage, preparing to sexually assault Sam, and kills them with help from Jimmy, who has defected from the soldiers. This is unprecedented as Jimmys have not killed anyone since Issa was killed. Cora warns the villagers that Noble will massacre the village once he returns, unless they mount a defense. Cora and Gunnar depart for the port town of Providence to recruit warriors for the village's defense, including Titus Jamon Hounsu, a disgraced Imperium general who turned his own forces on the motherland. Gunnar accompanies Cora to find the Bloodaxe whom he supplied grain in the last season. During their journey, she reveals to Gunnar that she once served the Imperium as a soldier, having been adopted and renamed to Arthur by Belisarius for a fee, an Imperium commander, after he killed her family and eradicated her home planet's population when she was 9 years old. At the age of 18, she became an officer and was given a command position. She was now fighting on distant worlds under the banner of an empire that killed her entire family. She became bodyguard to Motherworld. Princess Issa Stella Grace Fitzgerald, who was expected to usher in an end to the Imperium's conquests. Issa was rumored to have the power to give life. She was unable to protect Issa during her coronation, when the royal family King Kerry Elwes and Queen Ryan Rees was assassinated, and Belisarius subsequently declared himself regent before renewing its conquests. Arriving at Providence, the pair learns from Gunnar's contact that Titus is most likely on Pollux. The pair meets smuggler and criminal Kai Charlie Hunnam, who agrees to take them to recruit Titus. On the way to the planet Pollux, Kai takes them to two additional warriors, Tarek Stasnair, a beast tamer, and Nemesis Duna Bay, a talented swordswoman enhanced by cybernetics. The group arrives at a gladiator on a remote moon, finding Titus in a drunken stupor. Titus used to command the Eastern forces for the old king. Titus initially refuses but agrees to join them after Cora suggests that he avenge his fallen soldiers, who died after Titus surrendered to Belisarius. Using Gunnar's previous dealings with the Blood Axes, they then arrive at planet Charon, the home planet of King Levitica, to meet them and their rebellion. Intending to recruit them, Darian agrees to defend the village and brings with him a handful of rebels, including Miliacy, Duffy, with him, while Devra considers a fight against Noble's dreadnought, the King's Gaze, hopeless and a waste of their resources. She says that a dreadnought is a destroyer of worlds and cannot be fought with a few fighters. After they depart Charon, Noble arrives and eradicates its population as punishment for assisting the rebels. Kai tells Cora that he has been moved by her quest to abandon his illicit life as a smuggler and that he has one last shipment to drop off to leave that life behind him and join her in her fight to save the village. He takes the group to a trading post at which Noble's ship has arrived and restrains them, save for Gunnar, betraying them to Noble and revealing he had always intended to do so for the bounties on their heads. Noble identifies Cora, Tarek, Nemesis, and Titus for their history. Cora and Titus as deserters, Tarek as a criminal and former prince, and Nemesis as the killer of several Imperial officers in revenge for her murdered children. Noble says that once he presents their bodies to the regent, he will be proclaimed as a hero of the realm and granted a seat on the Senate. Kai demands that Gunnar paralyze Cora. Gunnar instead frees her and kills Kai. The other warriors are unshackled as well. A battle ensues, with Darian and Noble the latter at the hands of Cora among its casualties. Darian sacrifices his life to save his fellow fighters and to bring down Noble's ship, without which none of them would have survived. Afterwards, the surviving warriors return to Velt together, with Jimmy watching them from afar on their way to the village. Noble's corpse is recovered by Motherworld forces, and he is resurrected after having spoken on an astral plane with Belisarius, who demands that Noble end the insurgency against him and bring Cora to him alive so he can execute her himself. Cora finally confronts the Admiral in one final confrontation too, sending him flying off a floating dock and seemingly to his doom. In the end, however, the Motherworld army is able to recover the Admiral's body and revive him, setting the stage for his return in the sequel. Coming soon, Rebel Moon, Part 2, The Scargiver.